All right, Barber Sports Podcast XFL edition, and we are here with AJ Forbes. AJ, how are we doing today?
Doing good, man.
Doing good. Getting close to spring break, started spring ball, found some time for us to do this podcast. Finally, we've been planning on doing it, but now that we got a good sample size with 4 games in and more coming for the XFL, we thought it was a good time to do this. AJ, we're going to start with some rule change, like differences, I guess you could say, from the NFL side of things and how it compares. And what have you thought of the league as a whole so far as the rule changes go?
Yeah, as far as the league as a whole, I think, it's been, it's obviously it's a great opportunity for the actual players that are involved, and whether they're trying to extend their careers a little bit or whether they're trying to take that next step into the NFL, because there's a ton of guys who have had NFL experience who are playing in the league right now and are trying to get back, and there's guys like AJ McCarron who are, for the sake of being able to play, he's playing in the XFL right now. So from that standpoint, I think it's a great opportunity for those guys, and from a fan standpoint, I think it's, we're having football almost all year round now.
Yeah.
So I think, on all ends, it's been great. You talk about how the XFL has implemented a bunch of different rule changes that have improved the viewing experience. In my opinion, I don't know what you've thought about it, but first things first, I love the new XFL kickoff rule.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think it's a very interesting rule. I think definitely it's more exciting. I mean, just the statistics alone of how many more kick returns you get, an average starting field position being at like the 29 or 30, I believe now, instead of in the NFL, it's the 25. Like, I think average is 25 because most of them are touchbacks. I think it's great for the return game. I think it's great for special teams. I think it's not so great for kickers. I think this whole league's not so great for kickers. And it's not that. I think that's what the XFL is supposed to be, though. I think it keeps, as much as I hate to say it, like, kickers are not what's the most entertaining part about football. And so I think the XFL has taken that and has kind of gone fully into that, as far as, like, there's no extra points, there's no onside kick. If you punt the ball into the end zone, they get it on the 35. Like, there's a lot of things that don't benefit a special teams player, in which I think kind of probably limits the amount of punters and kickers they are going to get in that league that have just dropped out of the NFL or something like that. But no, I agree. As a whole, I think this has been really good. AJ McCarron's quite the story. St. Louis as a whole has been quite the story. Like 38,000 people at that game.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just a sports town. It needs a team back, I think.
Yeah, they just broke the attendance record, I think, in terms of spring football.
Yeah. And it wasn't close, really.
No, it wasn't. And then, going to what you said about kickers and their place in the XFL, like going back to what I said about the fan experience, fans don't like watching kickers.
No,
unless you're a kicker.
100%.
You know,
I think it's been great. I really do, and I think that's the only part, like, true football, like, hardos, I guess you could say, really miss the most is like, oh, like, we're not getting like the tradition. You don't get the traditional game of football. That's whatever they want to say. But no, I definitely think that, for better or for worse, that kickoff rule is going to get looked at pretty heavily by the NFL, and you're going to get a lot of mixed reactions. But I do think it's a good idea. Just as, again, from the fan perspective, you're going to get a lot more excitement out there than you would normally.
Yeah, and then when you talk about going to what you said about the PAT rule, for anyone who doesn't know what the XFL does is, instead of an extra point, they have a layered tier system of what you do. So from I think it's the 2 or 3 yard line, it's a 1 point conversion. From the 5 yard line, it's a 2 point conversion, and then from the 10 yard line, it's a 3 point conversion.
Yeah. So, from the 2, it's a 1, 5, it's a 2, 10, it's a 3.
Yep. And so we've seen this already. When you look at how most of these games have played out, they've all been close games. And I think the fact that a 9 point game which traditionally is a 2-possession game in the NFL and college football, high school, all that stuff. A 9-point game in the XFL is still a 1-possession game.
Yeah, and I mean that St. Louis team, the week 1, they took advantage of that, and they took advantage of the new onside kick rule. That is, it's a 4th and 15 from. Let me check it to make sure I'm right. Believe it is.
I think it's the 35.
35, yeah. 4th and 15, and that's exciting as well.
Yeah,
that is exciting. I do go back and forth on that one, but I love it. I think it's really fun.
Yeah.
I think it's more likely you're gonna do that with all the new rules that have been implemented on the onside kick. It's very, very hard to get an onside kick.
Yeah, I mean, you look at what the statistics as far as onside kick conversions go in the NFL. It's in the single percentile range. Like it's you might as well not kick it because there's a 99% chance that you're not going to recover it.
Yep.
So I think with the 4th and 15 opportunity as instead of the onside kick, I think that's something that the NFL should look at because not only does it give the fan excitement that the XFL has really been able to grab a hold of, but it also improves the competitiveness of the game because you still have teams that it's a minute 20 left, and then you have you just scored to bring it within however many, and then you convert on a 4th and 15, the game's still going on.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree. It's definitely a lot better than, like you said, the single-digit percentage of the onside kick in the NFL. And even if the NFL adopted it and moved them back to like the 25, and you're like 4th and 15 from your 25, like even if they did that, it's like the matter of fact when you use that situation is usually like we need the ball back now, and if we don't get it, we're gonna lose anyway. So I think it doesn't it still plays into that even if you gave it to them at the 25. Like just realistically, they're probably gonna make it more drastic if you do it because I don't know. Sometimes it feels like some of those coaches in the NFL with all the analytics and stuff, you give them the 35, 4th and 15, they might do it the whole game.
And so that's the thing. I believe it's teams are only allowed to do it in the fourth quarter and in overtime in the XFL, which you take a team like this is the argument. Teams like the Kansas City Chiefs, if you give them the opportunity to go for it on 4th and 15 in the first quarter, they're probably going to be up 21-0 before the other team gets the ball. So
100%.
So I think the XFL implementing that caveat, where you're only allowed to do it in fourth quarter overtime when a team really needs it.
100%.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, and the overtime for the XFL, since you mentioned that, it's kind of like I think the best way to describe it is it's college football and the NHL combined. It's like it's not a full period. They don't play a full period. It's just you get 3 2-point attempts, best out of the 3, get wins, or if that, then they just go alternating like college does now. It's you go from like a shootout in the NHL to college football. We're going back and forth now. So I think that's also interesting. I was not thrilled when college football adopted that rule just because I think it takes a lot of the excitement out. And like after that 7 overtime game of LSU and Texas A&M, like it's just like that was awesome.
That was awesome. Like how many times are you going to be able to see scores in the 70s in college football anymore?
Yeah, 100%.
On for both teams, not just not just the one.
Yeah, and like you can argue that this rule has given some exciting overtimes as well. Like I remember Illinois Penn State had an exciting 6 overtime thriller, and like it's definitely there's pros and cons to both. I think it does help like not having to play those 7 extra overtimes from the 25 in. Like that's a lot on your body.
Yeah, I think that's probably the main argument against the traditional start at 25. You get the possession. Whoever starts out, you get the possession to go in, and then you go back and forth on the 25-yard line.
Yeah, 100%.
As a college football player myself, I think that would be. If I had to do that 7 times, that'd be super exhausting.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you.
After playing the 4 quarters, So.
And just and then you have to practice that too, and it's just it's a whole different mindset. And then we saw, I believe it was this week for the first time, we saw the double forward pass rule come into play.
Yes.
And that was absolutely electric.
Yes, and the cool thing about that is I follow I try to keep in in the loop with everything XFL now, since that's what we're trying to cover right now. And AJ Smith, who is the offensive coordinator for the Houston Roughnecks, which is one of the only 2 teams in the XFL right now that are undefeated, along with the DC Defenders. He tweeted out of the clip of the double forward pass, and he said that the play was called Mike Leach, and that was a what's it called, like a testament to Mike Leach. Rest in peace, coach. But
seriously, rest in peace, Mike Leach. We miss you, dude. He would have been a great XFL coach.
Would have been a great. And that's the cool thing is with AJ Smith, the offensive coordinator for the Roughnecks. He has implemented multiple schemes from both the air raid and the run and shoot. Yeah, because he has a background, in the air raid, and he's worked with June Jones, who is the offensive coordinator for the Seattle Sea Dragons.
Go Sea Dragons. We're a non-biased podcast. Go Sea Dragons.
and the inventor of the run and shoot. So I thought it was super cool that he was able to take advantage of that rule.
Yeah, and the part I like about the rule is that if the first pass is dropped, it's still incomplete. Like, it's not a fumble. Like, it takes a lot of the risk reward out of like doing a double reverse pass. And also, as a corner, it's just so hard to think like, or as a defensive player in general, it's hard not to react like, oh, they threw the ball forward. Yep. Like, it's just your football instinct takes over. I'm gonna go get him. Then you're like, shoot, like, touchdown.
It's ball thrown, go chase ball.
Yeah, and it's tough because like if you get a team that runs like a quick game offense that throw it short a lot, and it looks like it's at the line, you got to kind of stay honest as a corner on your receiver. I definitely think it complicates things for corners and DB. Like, it complicates things for those guys a lot, but it is exciting. That's what I think about the whole league as a whole. It's been exciting. I like the timing of the game. Yep. Like, I don't know, nothing against the XFL. It's like, if it was as long as an NFL game normally is, I don't know, it'd still get me the whole time. But the way the 35-second play clock, the clock keeps going when the ball's incomplete, like all that kind of stuff was outside of 2 minutes, of course. Yep. Like, all that stuff I think it's a good adoption for the league. I think it does its purpose, and there's been some good football played, I do believe.
Oh yeah, I mean, you look at, like I said earlier, there's a bunch of there are former NFL All Pros that are playing in the league right now. Yeah. Josh Gordon is the starting receiver for the Seattle Sea Dragons,
and he's not the best one.
And that's the thing. He's not even he doesn't even lead the team in receiving.
No, it's awesome, and I think a lot of it has to do with June Jones and his offense. Every statistical category has a Sea Dragon leading the way right now on offense. Yep. Like Danucci, and you got Josh Gordon and John. Oh, what's his name? Ja'Cour Pearson. Then their running back is their leading rusher in the league. Yep. Like, it's just kind of crazy. Like, for a 2-2 team, a lot of like their offense is absolutely clicking. They've had a couple heartbreaking losses. Yeah. But no, I think it's been awesome. I think that the replay review has been really good. It's really cool to be able to listen to Dean Blandino talk through it with the crew. Yeah. Or like if there's a flag in the game. Like, I do think it was a Sea Dragons game. One of the guys threw a punch, and they ejected him right away. Yep. But it was like, okay, then they were looking at it, and like as everything was progressing, you can hear Blandino say like, "Yep, you got it right. He's got like that player needs to go like ejected." Like, and I think that part's really cool. Coach is allowed to challenge anything is just something. And the NFL's tried it a little bit. It's good.
I'm pretty sure that's a rule that was proposed in the new the new negotiations.
Yeah, and I think the first game of the XFL, I remember that there was a pass interference that didn't get called or something. They challenged it, and they're like, "Oh, I bet the Eagles wish they had that." And I was like, "Really? Like, this is just too soon. Just too soon." But
and going off of that, just the transparency that the league has had as a whole. Like, you have however many coaches and players mic'd up. You can hear both coordinators on both teams call out plays. That's something that the USFL has done as well. Being able to listen on the field. Fans are always talking about like what is it like to be on the field during a professional football game, and being able to see it and listen to it and listen to what the players are saying and how they're communicating and everything. It's been super cool to see.
Yeah, and you can hear it all so well. Obviously the mics are right on their pads and everything. And I think that's the really cool part. It was the Sea Dragons 4th and 7. Josh Gordon gets the deep bomb, and all you hear is Danucci
screaming,
running down the field, screaming and laughing. And that's what football is. I think that's the cool part is hearing those celebration hours of big plays, or it's a bad play. How are we gonna regroup? I think that's the really cool part. And obviously for some teams, you've heard in the huddles some bickering back and forth due to this.
Yeah.
But that's how it is. That's football. That's just how everything goes. So I think that part's really cool about the XFL, and I think hearing the complexity of some of these play calls and what actually is being said is just game changing for people. Oh well, how did it when people are oh, how do they not know it's on too?
Yeah.
Because you got a list of words you need to listen to, and then that's the last thing said.
Especially when you're talking about teams that because anyone can listen to the play call on the broadcast. So there's teams like the Roughnecks and like the Sea Dragons that have a relatively short play call because that's just how the offense is constructed.
Yeah.
And then you listen to teams like the Orlando Guardians and
Vegas
and Vegas a little bit where the play call is essentially saying what each player is doing, whether it be a concept or a route, a blocking scheme, a hard count, anything like that. There's such a wide variety of how teams are calling their systems.
Absolutely. I think it's really good for fans because also it's not something you don't need to watch it every week. You can turn it on and you can, when you're ready, you turn it on and watch, get your little fill of it, and I think it gives you a better experience as far as knowing what's going on in the field and being able to be okay, this is what this means. This is what X slant, that's what that means. Even just the basic stuff that people that haven't played the game don't understand. You just get so much more of the concept of what is going on in the huddle, what is going on the field, what is the quarterback checking to, or just all that kind of stuff is really cool to see. But I thought I was looking at the attendance numbers and viewership numbers, and obviously the first weekend they had over 1 million viewers every game, which was pretty cool to see. But then as it went down, obviously it's going down a little bit, but they haven't had below 500,000 people watch a game on TV yet. So that's not bad. And then attendance-wise, the lowest one has been in Vegas. And that whole Vegas stadium is just...
Yeah, first of all, you're playing a game on a baseball field, and that never, that generally never works out. And then it was 2 weeks ago where the field conditions were just awful. And people were slipping all over the place. Kickers were slipping after kicks. The grass looked like it was dead, and it was not a. And you look on Twitter, and everyone is talking about this field sucks, and this is the worst professional football field they've ever seen. So.
And that shocks me about the that's the most shocking part about this league is the team in Vegas, going through all those issues. Because really, you look at the roster, it's not a bad roster at all. But they're 0-4, and you got it's just bad.
So let's talk about that. Who do you think is the best team? Who do you think is the worst team in the league right now?
Right now, let's pull up our little standings here. So right now, the Defenders 4-0, the Battlehawks are 3-1, Sea Dragons 2-2, Vegas 0-4. And in the XFL South, you got the Roughnecks at 4-0, the I can't read. Renegades at 2-2. How do you say the Brahmas?
Brahmas
at 1-3, and the what's the last one?
Orlando Guardians
at 0-4.
Come on.
I know I'm struggling today. I haven't watched the Guardians yet, honestly. But
there's not a whole lot to watch.
No, that's what I think. I think the Guardians gotta be the worst team though.
Oh yeah, Guardians by far have to be the worst.
Because Vegas is bad, but they've also had some closer games.
But they've been competitive.
Yes.
And then even what's frustrating about what the Guardians have been doing is it just seems like this word culture gets thrown around a lot, and it's tough to talk about culture when when you have months to be together and you're 4 weeks into the season. But yeah, God, you just watch the broadcast whenever the Guardians are playing, and everything's so negative. The coaches sound negative. It doesn't feel like, and I hate to speculate on things, but everything just seems so negative.
It just seems like nobody wants to be there.
Yeah.
And it just sucks. Like, they're the one team that they have been competitive in one game. Like, they've lost 12-33, 30-12, 9-10. They lost one close one, then 44-16.
Who was that 9-10 one?
The Renegades.
And who are not 500 right now.
Yeah. And it's just, I don't know. They're struggling. I feel like you said, it's definitely got to be a culture thing. Every time you I have seen clips of their games, and it's like all the clips are like, the coach is negative, the players are negative, they're bickering with each other. Like, and obviously when you lose 4 straight games, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But still, you gotta find a way to kind of rally the troops to kind of get that first win out of the way.
Yeah, especially when this league is being marketed as the league of opportunity.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's if you don't want to be on the field, don't be on the field. I'm not saying that's what's going on in the locker room right now, because obviously I think those players want to play and they want to win, because they wouldn't be playing in the XFL if they didn't. But
yeah, I think you got to more kind of like think about it as, this is like my last opportunity to show what I have.
Oh, yeah.
Even if you're on a bad team, there's still opportunity for you to go to the next level.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think that mindset is still probably something that's like kind of keeping these guys like showing up every day.
Oh, yeah.
Because like there are scouts watching these games.
Oh, yeah.
There's no doubt about it. And like you said, it's a league of opportunity for sure. And there's a lot of things that can go right for you for sure. I mean, we've seen it in the past. Like, PJ Walker's been a success.
Yep.
Heineke's been a success.
Yep.
And I just think that will continue.
Shout out to Taylor Heineke for just signing a 2-year, $24 million deal.
Good for Taylor, dude. Love that man. Zen sponsor him. But as far as the best team go, that Houston teams look very, very good. I mean, it's pretty. The stats speak for themselves. I mean, 122 points for, only 55 against.
Yeah, and so in our group chat that we have for the business, we have, I Noah over here, Noah and Bryce and Dalton, we're trying to turn the whole of Barn Burner Sports into a Seattle Sea Dragons fan club. And after deep thought and analysis of what the teams were, I decided that I was going to pledge my allegiance to the Houston Roughnecks. And this is before, I want to let this be known, this is before the season started.
You don't want to go through heartbreak, you can't handle it.
But I honestly, though, I think, unbiased opinion, I think the Roughnecks have been...
No, I do agree. It pains me to say it. I do think the Sea Dragons have a actual case being the second best team in the league, even though their record doesn't show it.
Yeah, I agree.
I think this team is very, very good, and they've lost 2 heartbreakers on like last play situations.
Yeah.
So, that part sucks, but
like going back to the statistic part of it, I'm pretty sure Brandon Silvers, who's the starting quarterback for the Roughnecks, he's second in passing yards, but I'm pretty sure he's first in passing touchdowns.
Yeah.
I think he's the only one with double-digit passing touchdowns.
He's got 10
4 weeks. And then you go to the defensive side of the ball. When your head coach is Wade Phillips, former, spent 30-plus years in the NFL as a defensive coordinator, as a head coach, that defense is going to be really good, and they have been. I'm pretty sure they lead the league in sacks right now. I know for a fact that they have a guy named Trent Harris who has led the league in sacks all season. So.
No, they've been a great team the whole time, and like you said, that Brandon Silvers is second in passing yards with almost 30 less attempts than Ben DiNucci.
Mm-hmm.
DiNucci's thrown for 200 yards more than him, but I mean, at the same time, 10 passing touchdowns, 3 interceptions is a good ratio for sure.
Yep.
Also, one thing that I've kind of forgot about is how Paxton Lynch has rebounded from getting benched.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, he's played well. I mean, he's the 4th leading passer after getting benched week 1.
I think that whole situation may have been blown out of proportion a little bit, because week one, when you're working with a team that's been together for maybe a month, you're trying to find what you have. And obviously Paxton Lynch was a former first round pick to the Denver Broncos, but
He has got benched in every league that exists.
See, that's the thing though. Like like when you talk about how little time these teams have been together, it's you want to see what you have.
I agree.
And even though, yes, you have Paxton Lynch, who's a former first-round pick in the NFL, you want to see what you have. So I think that may have been blown out of proportion a little bit.
Well, even DiNucci got pulled during the first game. I think everybody just kind of see what they have,
yeah.
even though it still pisses me off they got pulled. But I do think it's interesting. There's not many rushing touchdowns in this league.
Mm-mm.
Like D'Eriq King.
Yep, D'Eriq King.
I can never say his name right.
Yep, King.
Is leading the league with 4 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah,
and
quarterback.
And then running the ball is not a big thing in this league in general.
Yep.
Morgan Ellison is leading the league in rushing with 239 yards through 4 weeks, which isn't bad, but he's only got 46 carries.
Yeah,
I think I was shocked when he was the leading rusher because it feels like he hardly gets the ball.
Yeah.
In June Jones' offense that has been clicking on all cylinders, really.
Going back to like the two quarterback deal, trying to see what you have. There's been a couple different teams that have used the dual quarterback system well. One of them being the Houston Roughnecks, the other one being the DC Defenders. Both teams are undefeated.
Yes.
And you said D'Eriq King is leading the league in rushing touchdowns. Pretty sure he had 2 last weekend.
And Jordan Tamu is leading. This is the third leading rusher in the league.
Also a quarterback.
And
then you look at the Houston Roughnecks with Brandon Silvers. He's the starting quarterback. He's the undoubted starting quarterback. But then you have a guy like Cole McDonald, who at Hawaii was in a similar offense that they're running right now. And what he has been is he's really been the dual threat guy within that offense. He'll come in for the first couple of weeks. He was almost exclusively used during the PAT conversion attempts. Whether it be the design quarterback run, read option, stuff like that. So I just think it's cool that the 2 undefeated teams in the league right now have used 2 quarterbacks successfully, and they've defined roles for both of them.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's the best, and it gives both those guys the opportunity to go out and show what they have too. I think one thing that has shocked me is Martavis Bryant has not been a factor at all in this league. Like he was a star.
Yeah.
Was going to be a star in the NFL.
Yeah. And
it just kind of fell apart there for him, but he's only got 77 yards receiving. And
for a Vegas team that's
and
hasn't won a game.
The Vegas team's not good either, but I just expected more from him. Because it feels like him and Josh Gordon, it felt like you should be able to just call a play and throw the ball up to him, and they should make a play for you when you need it.
Yeah.
And Josh Gordon has shown that he can do that. And
if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure Jeff Bidet. I'm pretty sure it's Bidet. Jeff Bidet is the leading receiver on the Vegas Vipers right now.
Yeah, he's the 3rd leading receiver in the league too. 30 targets. He's got 260 yards, 19 receptions, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And Ja'Cour Pearson has 40 targets, 31 catches, 348 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
That dude's going to get, I think he's going to get picked up.
Yeah.
He runs a 4.2.
Yeah.
He's not very big, but he runs a 4.2. He catches the ball really well.
Yeah.
And he's he's open all the time.
Yeah. I mean, when you talk about how, with the Sea Dragons on the broadcast, they will undoubtedly talk about Josh Gordon, how good he is, and he's great. I'm pretty second leading receiver in the league.
Yeah, they're 1 and 2. Josh Gordon has 282 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, 1 and 2 in the league in receiving. So
yeah,
and you'll hear the broadcasters say Josh Gordon's getting double teamed, he's getting bracketed. That's why Ja'Cour Pearson is leading the league. Who cares?
Yeah.
Take advantage of that.
100%. I think having Josh Gordon as a mentor, even though it's a different style receiver, but having someone that's been in the league that can show you the ropes pretty much is only going to benefit Pearson even more. And I think that, like you said, you just got to take advantage of your opportunity. And when he gets an open space, there's just nobody that can touch him.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And I think another guy is Hakeem Butler for
Oh
the
yeah.
Battlehawks. He's
Yeah.
been really showing what he has too. He went to Iowa State. I remember watching him there.
Yep.
And
Huge.
just a big. It's kind of like Darnell Washington in a way.
Yeah.
Like as a comparison, who's going into the NFL, I guess. But he's a big body. He'll go up and get the ball. He's got 21 catches, 250 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And I think 4 touchdowns. I think is tied for the league lead in receiving touchdowns. So I mean, he's been taking advantage of his opportunity too.
Yeah.
And AJ McCarron has been a great quarterback for him too. Yeah. And it's just like these guys are taking advantage of the opportunity that they've been given, and hopefully it turns out for a few of them to get into the next level.
So let's do this. If you had through 4 weeks, give me your all XFL first team offensive skill positions.
Are we going one at each position?
Let's go
one quarterback.
Let's go 1 quarterback, 3 receivers,
Okay.
1 tight end, 2 running backs.
Okay. Well, the 1 quarterback, I think it always goes to the quarterback with the best team.
Yep.
I think, and I think that would have to be Brandon Silvers.
I would agree.
If we had to do a second team, it'd probably be Danucci.
Yep.
Because it's just.
I think you could be. What does AJ McCarron look like?
86 completions, 131 attempts, 850 yards, 9 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Yeah, I think
he could be second.
I could definitely make a case for AJ McCarron.
100%, and I think it'll progress as the season goes on. It'll depend on record.
Yeah,
but yeah, either one of those two could be the second team guy, and you'd be not batting an eye at it at all.
But I do think Brandon Silvers is undoubtedly the first. Yeah, the best quarterback in the league.
Yeah, right now. I think so too. As far as running backs go, that's a tough. I mean,
I feel like you have to go with Morgan Ellison since he's leading the league.
He is leading the league. Max Borghi.
I would love to make a case for Max Borghi. He did miss last week. He did miss a game last week,
and he's still top 10 in rushing.
He's top 10 in rushing.
He's tied. Oh, I guess he's tied for second in league rushing touchdowns with 2.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think he's lightning in a bottle.
It's 2 touchdowns. And when you watch the Roughnecks play, obviously a lot of it is the passing game.
Yeah.
But most of his touches come on draws, come on inside zones, and then I'm not sure what his receiving stats look like, but I do know that at Washington State he did lead college football in receptions at the running back position with somewhere around 90 catches. So he has that ability.
He has 10 catches for 64 yards right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think for me it'd probably be.
I'm a big Max Borghi fan too.
I do.
I loved watching him at Washington State, and again, he's just another Mike Leach guy that fits that offense really well.
Shout out Mike Leach.
Time too. No, I definitely think the first team running back could drastically change throughout the rest of this season.
Oh yeah.
Abram Smith, I guess you could say 260 rushes, 211 yards, 1 touchdown for the defenders.
Mm-hmm. But the thing with the defenders though is they have a very multiple run game.
Mm-hmm. They have 2 quarterbacks that run the ball really well, and then you have a run. Then it's hard to get your running back touches when your quarterback's third in rushing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I think Abram Smith was the first overall pick in the XFL draft.
Yeah,
I think is insane.
I remember we watched the Sea Dragons versus the Defenders game. They're saying that, and I was like, "This chump is the first overall pick." Because we shut him down.
Jeez. Oh.
But as far as receiver goes, I think Pearson and Gordon definitely are probably 2.
Yep.
And then Jeff Badette could be the 3rd. Keem Butler's the tight end, don't you think? Or they count him as a receiver?
I think they list him as a receiver.
Yeah.
I think they use him as a receiver.
They reuse him as a receiver for sure. It's just a matter of what he's listed as.
Yeah.
He could be either. Yeah, I think I would just go pretty much like chalk with the top 3 league leaders with Pearson, Gordon, and Badette. Mm-hmm. It's kind of hard to go against that.
Yeah, I think John Trey Kirkland.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's right there too.
Has been really good for.
Yeah, he has 4 receiving touchdowns on 15 catches.
Also a touchdown pass.
No one else has it.
So yeah. So what's our list looking like right now? Probably Brandon Silvers at quarterback. Yeah, Morgan Ellison and Max Borghi.
I think that's what I would go with.
For a running back, and
Yeah.
then you have to have Ja'Cory Pearson.
Yep.
Probably going to have Josh Gordon.
Yep.
And then toss up between Jeff Badette, Hakeem Butler.
They do have Hakeem Butler listed as a receiver.
As a receiver?
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably going to have to go Hakeem Butler then.
Probably. I think so. I just don't know how you don't. He's been very, very good. And then
I mean, what you said? He said he has 4 receiving touchdowns, right? And then
Yes.
Adrian McCarron has 9 passing touchdowns.
Yes.
So
Yeah. No, he's definitely taken the majority of the catches from that team.
Mhm.
And I mean, that's hard not to.
Yeah.
As far as tight ends go,
There's 2 names that come to mind. One is Sal Cannella.
Yep.
Who is the tight end for the Renegades.
Yep.
Was all USFL during the spring last year.
Yep.
When he played for the New Orleans Breakers.
Yep.
And then another one that comes to mind, had a great game a couple weeks ago, was Elysier Mack.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. I don't know. The tight end position is hard too because they're not getting many touches either.
Mm-hmm.
You could go with Cody Latimer too from.
I thought he was a receiver.
They have him as tight end.
Was he not a receiver coming out of college?
I don't remember. I don't remember for sure, but they have him listed as a tight end. So you could argue him as well.
Right. Hey, commercial break so we can look this up here.
Enjoy this clip of Josh Gordon scoring a touchdown on 4th and 7.
Danucci takes a shot upfield to Gordon. Gordon caught it. Gordon's backstepping. Gordon's going to score.
Okay, yeah, we're back. I was right. He was a receiver coming out of college and in the NFL. Must have just converted to tight end. So good for him.
And allegedly arrested.
Why you gotta throw that in there?
I'm a factual guy.
Why you gotta throw that in
I'm a factual guy.
Was arrested one of the things that popped up like automatically when you did the Google search. It said Cody Latimer arrested.
After gunfire at Colorado apartment.
Okay. All right. More positively.
Playing very well.
Playing very well.
Playing very well. I'm a big fan.
Oh my God.
Shout out.
You see, I try to keep this as positive as possible.
Hey, I'm a very positive guy. Josh Gordon, you want to be on our podcast?
And then we'd love to have you, man. Come on. But I try to keep things positive, and then I have you, and then I have Dalton. Oh my God. Anyway, so the week 4 through week 4.
That's what we got right now.
Barn burner, All-XFL team is quarterback Brandon Sobers, running back 1 Morgan Ellison, running back 2 Max Borghi.
Yes.
Wide receivers in no particular order. We got Ja'Cory Pearson,
Josh Gordon,
Jeff Badette,
and
Jeff Badette. Tight end. Did we decide on that?
I think we just having Cody Latimer listed at tight end. I want to pick him,
Mm-hmm.
but
I think Sal Cannella is
I think Sal
Cannella is really the primary receiver.
I agree.
In that Renegades offense.
I think he's the very, very little bright spot of the Renegades.
So I'll have to go with Sal Cannella.
I'll agree with that. For sure. And one thing we haven't touched on yet is what have you thought of the O-line play in the XFL so far?
Yeah, when looking at the games, I try to look at how the offensive line is doing as an offensive lineman. I think there have been multiple games where it is obvious that they have not spent a lot of time together.
Yeah.
The very first week, I know that the Roughnecks had 7 sacks. Again, that's week 1. O-line hasn't spent a lot of time with each other.
Yeah, there was a lot of sacks in general in week 1.
Yeah.
I think the Sea Dragons gave up like 4 or 5 too.
Yeah. So early on in the season, it was obvious that these offensive lines haven't been together for a long time in terms of pass protection. In terms of run blocking, I think when you're playing professional football, you have to be a good run blocker. So everyone's a good run blocker. It's just who's the best, who's the worst at the good.
Yeah.
So I think
they also don't get too much of an opportunity to run block in general,
Mm-hmm.
which is what it is with kind of what these offenses do, and and that's what you're gonna get when you have like a June Jones offense, Heinz Ward led team.
Yeah,
Not many teams are running the ball very hard right now. But
I will say the one guy that's kind of caught my eye is the center for the Battlehawks. I forget his name. Forgive me. I'll put this in when I edit this. Number 61, bald, long beard, doesn't wear gloves or tape.
Yep.
So that's one guy that's caught my eye. Whether or not I'm biased as a center or not, just watching.
He is our All-XFL lineman. Shout out you.
But yes, as far as offensive line play, I think it's been getting better as the season has progressed.
And it definitely hasn't ruined how the game is played. They're definitely playing good enough where it's it looks like good football is being played. Because an offensive line, if you have something that it's not working at all, it can ruin the whole game.
Yeah.
It just looks bad. It makes everything look sloppy.
Mm-hmm.
But since they've been able to kind of actually gel, and as a season, like you said, season's gone on, play better, I think that's definitely helped the league as well.
Yeah, I agree.
But any final notes for the rest of this podcast?
Yeah, last thing is I think the XFL is doing a good job. People were super weary about what spring football was going to look like, what kind of football was going to be played, but I think everything has been super entertaining. Most of these games have been super competitive, and I just enjoy watching football during the spring.
Yeah, no, it's been great. I mean, it's nice just to be able to come home on one of the weekend days or Thursdays even and be able to have football on. Yeah, I think the league's done really well. I think they'll definitely see a lot of these guys at training camps.
Yep.
Across the NFL.
Definitely at least training camp.
Oh, for sure. If not, on the actual roster.
I
think, guys like Hakeem Butler, Josh Gordon might get another chance, but there's a lot of I think a lot of NFL teams think there's a lot still up in the air with him as far as, the off-the-field stuff goes.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't bet on Josh Gordon.
No, I wouldn't bet on him either, but Pearson probably should be. Silvers will probably get some looks. I think there's just so many players out there that will be actually considered for an NFL roster, and I think a lot of that has been due to The Rock taking this league over and making it so not in your face, but this is a big deal. He wants to give everybody an opportunity, and I think the league as a whole, with the management being at most games, there's not many games they're not at.
Yeah.
As the CEO and as the president of the league, which I think only helps you as a league because you're in person, you're feeling what's going on, you can adjust to what differences can we make when we do this again next year or as the season goes on. So.
And if Dwayne Johnson is good at anything, he's a great marketer.
Oh yeah,
great marketer.
Dude can sell anything.
Yeah, and the fact that he's been able to leverage his relationships with Under Armour, as the primary league outfitter, I think that's been awesome.
Yeah.
I do think it's hilarious when he has his own energy drink being the official energy drink of the XFL, and his own brand of tequila.
Oh yeah.
Is the official tequila of the XFL. I think that's hilarious. But I think anytime you connect a guy like Dwayne Johnson to something like the XFL, people are going to notice.
Yep.
And it's all about trying to get viewership and trying to enhance the fan experience.
Yeah, no, I definitely think it's done better than a lot of people thought it was going to do at the beginning. And I think it's going to continue to grow. And I think as long as the financial backing will be there to keep this thing going for a few years, it's just going to get better and better.
Yep.
And the quality of play is going to get better and better because knowing the fact that this league's going to be around next year, it just increases maybe I'm not good enough to go to the NFL draft, so I'm going to go to the XFL draft, get drafted, and work my way up.
Yep.
And I think that, again, it's the league of opportunity for sure, and I think that will be used more and more as the years go on.
Yep. And I think, the cool thing about it is after the XFL season is done, spring football's not over because we got the USFL, baby.
I know, and it's back. It's back.
I know.
We might get former Grizzly on the field. Maybe. We'll see. No, I hope Justin gets drafted in the NFL, but if he doesn't, I can't wait to watch him ball.
Yeah.
In the USFL.
Oh yeah.
So, All good?
All good, man.
All right. We will see you next time.